going blind. Okay, right. Let's add some of this yellow ochre. It's a little bit darker than the others. You can see that I've just put in. That's nice, gives you some nice different textures coming in. And I tell you what, I'm going to put a little touch of green into this. You saw from the other ones. Just do, but I'm going to put up almost like a turquoise, bluey green. Just a few little stripes. Make that a bit more turquoise. Come down. You take a bit of a darker brown in here, just to lift that part, those feathers out a bit. I'm going to come in with a bit of a darker color. Sort of feather in there a little bit. And even a like darker brown right underneath here, give you that real contrast, and that shadow just lifts it up. Into there, and actually then come down. Very light, just bring some stripes down. Very light little marks in the back. Up into there. Then I'm just going to feather some of this out softly down the edge. I'm going to edge this one off a little bit more just to bring that out. And a little touch of blue down the bottom here. Put a bit of a highlight here. We need to separate the wing, which the one wing is coming up. There's a bit of a separation in here. Very light indication, and a few little, very light little marks, just to give the feathers. Yeah, I wonder whether, let's have a look at that other one that is also from the back. Yeah, that one there. Okay, so let's give it a bit more oomph, as it were, in this area here. And a few little marks down here. Let's do that. I know it doesn't look exactly the same as the other one because the position is different. And that one there doesn't have this nice big stripe of feathers here between the two. But anyway, yeah, just put it down the bottom here, a little bit of a darker. Let's.
She was asking, how big are these birds compared to, say, a kingfisher?
Which kingfisher are you referring to? You got the giant kingfisher, you got the little malachite kingfisher, which is actually very small. So I'm just trying to visualize now which one, because you get the giant kingfisher.
I think you can sort of
you get in the
feel if you look at the.
I'm just trying to think of another bird that is almost the same size.
It's not very big. If you look, there's a wasp.
Yeah.
So they're not very big.
No, they're not very big.
Bigger than a sparrow.
Oh, much no, they're bigger than a sparrow. I should imagine. Slightly smaller than a thrush, but slimmer. They're not round-bodied. They're very sleek. They're very streamlined. They are extremely fast in the air. They zip along at one hang of a rate of knots that the old wasp or the bee doesn't even have a time to take evasion action at all. Let's put a little bit of a mark here. Yeah, gives a bit of an indication for the left. I think I must take a little bit more of the. That's the hint of red in here. In a bit of darker brown, but they're more of a reddy brown. Right, I think there's like a brick red. So let's try and put that into here. Oh, that's better. There we go. I think there's a bit more of the blue that also sort of comes up the side here. Let's do that. I'm sort of making a between the two birds just to make it look a little bit more interesting. I think that's just about it, except here this one leaf is not very nice and sharp. So can we get back to this little leaf here? I just want to do some back painting here to sharpen that leaf up. Like I did the other one, so I'll just bring some other color to do that. I'm going to need some either side as well, otherwise everything looks a bit lopsided. That's better, and that also tones in with the color on the other side, so just bring that a bit closer. I just got to watch out. I've got some lines that are going around the leaf, which I normally don't advocate at all. So let's take some other little, break that up with some other little leaves, get rid of that. Sharpen that edge. There we go. So I get rid of that rounding that I had there. Okay, so I think that's just about does it. I just want to tidy up a little bit here on the edges, so when I take the tape off, at least I have a reasonably nice line at the edge. Just jumping around here a little bit. Right, across the top. Let me just take that and dump this. But it's down the bottom here. Okay, I think I'm going to put a spray on before I actually take the tape off, because once I put the hairdryer on here, it's going to put the loose dust all over the place. So let me just take my coffee. I need the protection board, thank you. I just want to get to the sides. I want to spray it out that way, away from me. You'll see it darkens it slightly, and then it'll lighten as it dries. There you go. Thank you. Let's put that to the side. Get the. I don't want to blow dust all over the place, so I'm going to take my catcher and put it out of the way. Is the switch on? Where's the hook? There we go. Just take the tape off. Hook that up there quickly. Where is it? There you go. Right. That to the side. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's just check to see whether there's any paintings. Anybody had any problems? Around the eye most probably is going to be the... Okay, why do I use the hairdryer? Dorothy, absolutely very good question, that one. And most probably others are wondering the same thing. What happens is I put the tape on around the side to give me that nice professional look. A lot of watercolor artists don't do that. They come along and they just paint and then take it, get it framed, and then you've got to come in. I prefer to edge it off very nice. It gives it a very professional look. And if ever your work that you take into a framer or a gallery, because they often want it unframed, it looks very professional, and it's done me in good stead in the past. But now you've got the tape on. The tape can be quite sticky, and I've ruined many a painting in the past until I came across the idea of the hairdryer. And what happens is the hairdryer softens the gum. And if you pull it, you saw that, I pull it away with the hairdryer in the front. So it's softening the gum, and you can pull it away, but don't just rip. The moment you rip, you're going to rip your paper. And do it nice and soft, and watch, all the time I'm watching there where it's coming up. So the moment I see any of the paper coming up, I stop. And then I'll come from the other side and then take it out. And then quite often you can take, you can burnish it with the back of your nail onto that and burnish the pigment, the fiber back into the paper where you can hardly see it again. Sometimes if you with masking fluid inside with watercolors as well, to rip it a little bit, be careful. You can come back, burnish it, and then you can normally you can paint over, and people will hardly see it. So that's the reason for the hairdryer. Some people just come along and they just rip it off, but they take a chance. I've had it, and I'll pull it away. So if you, anytime the paper does tear, it turns away. You can always come back and frame it just over that with a mat. I normally keep this nice and clean, and then I've got a 10mm gap between my the mat and this one here, so that I don't need a double mat, as it were. Talking about that, I think it was Dorothy asked a question about how to frame it, and she's mentioned that she framed it before, and then the pastel came off against the glass. So what you've done there is you've actually put the pastel directly against the glass and framed it. Any painting that you do behind glass, never put any of it directly against the glass. Doesn't matter whether you're doing watercolors. Some people even do oil when it's dry behind glass with a nice frame, and it really looks nice with the oils like that as well. And what I'm going to do is, I've mentioned on the forum early this morning, that I'm going to do a short PDF. I'll put it on the forum in a couple of days' time, where I'll actually show you a few little examples on what to do with framing. And with this one here, there's a special way that you can stop any dust that does come loose. There is a bit that in transport, when it drops down a bit. So if you've got a single mat, what happens is the dust can collect, even if it's just a little bit, it's enough to spoil the look with a few dusts. So what we do is we put another one behind it, but slow it down. Slow it down. I'm really getting tongue-tied this morning here. But behind it, like that. So in other words, there's a gap. So any dust that falls down into that little gap, similar to what I do here with the painting. I've got that little catch piece here where all the pastel dust falls in. Now that is the mat that comes here, and you've got that little gap. So all the dust falls down the back. I've got that with mine, and I very seldom ever have a pastel dust coming onto the top of the mat. But I'll give you a few little examples on that one there. Let's see, any others? Okay, that explains why ribbon paper, yes. Spray, not clean, not cleaning up the edges. Right, I spray first, so that even if I've got marks on the outside the width of the tape, there's enough clean space there for me to come back and put my mat board there with still having the pristine, clear paper around the edge. Let's see. Let's see. Anything. A lot of people use a hairspray. I suppose you could use it, but I don't know. I'm one of those careful guys. I prefer to use the real thing, because many years back I did a big pencil drawing of a Impala Ram. I think I've still got it somewhere, where it's a big one. Oh, it must be. Let's see, big thing. And the full sheet. In other words, it was a full sheet of imperial size watercolor paper that I did it on, and I used the hairspray. But those days you didn't have aerosol cans; you had the little blower thing in the block, and you used to blow in and cross. And being a little bit naive, I thought I'd put a little bit more on the buck itself, so that the pencil didn't smear, and all was fine. 15 years later, what happened? That area where I'd oversprayed started to go yellow, and I used it for quite a few places where I've had it for reference. But if I've got it, it's a job now to go and find it because of my packing. But anyway, that's what I'm frightened of, that later on in years, you're going to suddenly find that hairspray is going to start discoloring the thing, because the components inside, ingredients rather, is not formulated for being here. Because here you don't want any acid or acidity, things like that. All the paper is acid-free, and all the stuff is acid-free. So the moment you've got some acid on it, it starts discolorating. So, long tail give it mobility. Yeah, the tail is actually, it's like the tail of a cheetah. That long tail, it's the cheetah that it stops it from tumbling. It's the same thing when you're riding a motorbike and you're going around the corner. Some people try to go up straight, try to sit up straight, and they overbalance instead of leaning in. I know I had 5 motorbikes, so anyway, right. I think that should be the end of it. I hope you've enjoyed today's class, and next week is aloes. Yes, we're going to do some nice aloe plants. We're going to have some nice rocks in it as well too, and that should also do some new things that we're going to be doing. The new type of leaf, how to do the aloe type leaf and the rocks, etc. So from Nolan and myself, have a good week until we meet again. God bless. Bye-bye.